Good afternoon, everyone, and I welcome you to my continuing series entitled Veils and Einstein. And today, I would like to discuss a few different scientific discoveries, as they call them, or as a spiritual person would say it is remembering. For having once been in the all, we are now simply remembering everything. So, the subject today centers around Maxwell's electromagnetic world. And to refresh your memory, Maxwell described this world saying that electric waves give rise to the magnetic waves, and magnetic waves give rise to the electric waves, and therefore he termed our realm the electromagnetic realm. Now, there was some research done several years ago. I don't remember exactly how many, but I do remember that the head scientist involved in the research was a man named George Smoot. And he and his research team were looking for the instant evidence from the electromagnetic spectrum of the instant following the Big Bang. Now, so that you are clear, in this particular moment, I am speaking of the classical Big Bang, the accepted theory of the Big Bang today, not the alternative theory of the Big Bang that I explained in some earlier videos, a theory that has been channeled to me from the universal consciousness. We'll return to that a little later. This classical Big Bang is the moment of creation, and Smoot and his researchers were looking for and found what they eventually called cosmic microwave background radiation. And this is said to be the first evidence in the electromagnetic spectrum of being. This is the first evidence of form coming out of the non-form, arising out of non-form. So my mind has been ticking over this information for the years since I read it in his book. And I've also been wondering about this God particle that the scientists are now frantically searching for. And of course, the choice of the word particle, God particle, was an excellent choice because it caught public attention. And that is much of what science needs to be given to the people so that it's not so esoteric and everyday people can understand what they're talking about. And also, searching for this God particle is one of the main reasons for constructing the Large Hadron Collider there in Switzerland, the same collider from which we have now been told neutrinos have been clocked at traveling faster than the speed of light. So, my proposal that I would like to give is that the God particle is not something that will be able to be found. So if the channelings that I have received are true at all, and if the original pure concept of God is true at all, then these are of a non-form, non-particle, pure state of energy. There can be no God particle if we accept the non-form, pure energy state. The very definition of God in its original concept and of consciousness precludes particles. And so in my opinion, The scientists are chasing a pretty deep hole. But that is not to say that it is not worthwhile still trying to search for something even closer to God than cosmic microwave background radiation. Now, I believe that this cosmic microwave background radiation is one of the first condensations out of God or out of consciousness, the consciousness that is, that I spoke of in my earlier videos. In quantum science, it is the same concept that the cosmic microwave background radiation is the first condensation out of the pure waves of conscious potential. This is a concept given to us by Dr. John Hagelin. Cosmic microwave background radiation is the first condensation of the all of consciousness into form, into our electromagnetic world. And it is the veil of consciousness that as it drops down instantaneously clouds our knowledge of this moment of separation into the human realm. Now, I'd like to also explore with you a few of the combinations of science and spiritual, looking for these instants of creation. Remember that dark energy in my former videos has been explained as being the same concept as the consciousness that is. They are both described in terms that it is a mysterious form of energy that permeates everything. Now, this word permeates is important because in quantum physics, with their double-slit experiments, we have been shown that an electron has consciousness. And because electrons permeate our human realm, it is very easy for you to understand that then God, or consciousness, is everywhere and permeates everything, as we now know it to be. And now remember also that we have dark matter. And I explained again in my former videos that dark matter, expressed in a spiritual connotation, is the same thing as intuition or inkling or imagination. All of these things from both the scientific and from the spiritual side are describing something that is non-detectable directly. You can't detect imagination directly. But we know that these things do exist because of their effects that they have on other things that are detectable within the electromagnetic spectrum. I have also described that out of the consciousness that is, one of the first condensations of that consciousness into being is intuition, inklings, things that drop into your head out of the blue. This is the same way that out of dark energy, dark matter has condensed. Okay, we cannot detect dark matter. However, we know that it is there, and we cannot detect imagination or inkling, but we certainly do experience them. I believe, therefore, that it is out of dark matter that one of the now first identified and detectable forms is cosmic microwave background radiation. Out of the non-form, non-detectable dark matter, we now have formed something that is further condensed from the dark energy to the dark matter to the cosmic microwave background radiation, which is in our human realm, the electromagnetic realm. And therefore, since it has been identified, cosmic microwave background radiation is no longer dark to our knowingness. Now, all of these concepts that I have been speaking of the scientific side or of the spiritual side, have forms. However, I do agree with you that it is a very elusive form. It is somewhat difficult in our human consciousness level to remind ourselves that radiation or X-ray or gamma ray or radio wave is form. But it is something that is identifiable in our realm and therefore has form. Now, the God particle necessitates form by the very choice of the word particle. But if the currently accepted creation myth of the Big Bang is true at all, it also necessitates particle. That is why the scientists are looking for the God particle. It is needed in order to explain the theory of the Big Bang, which is that from an intensely dense point in space and time, everything was created. This necessitates a God particle. But I do not believe that they will find it, because I do believe in the channelings that I have received. And I also do not believe that they will find it, because I do believe in the second creation myth that is now being offered to us by science. And that creation myth comes to us from quantum science. It is the creation of everything as out of the wave of pure conscious potential, everything collapses into form, into being. Now, this scientific creation myth concurs with the spiritual creation myth coming out of consciousness, and with the spiritual creation myth coming out of God. As long as the God that we are speaking of, and it does not matter if we call it Allah, God, Shiva, or any of the names from the tribes, both American Indian, African tribes, it does not matter what name we give it, because we are speaking of a pure state of energy that has no form, and it is then from this pure energy, non-formed state, that form is created. All of this also concurs with the scientific theory of dark energy, the dark energy that simply is, that permeates all. And so, out of all of this, particles are formed. And that is our electromagnetic world, our human realm, separated from the all by the veil, the metaphorical, cloudy veil. And all of this, then, is part of God's dark energy consciousness. And everything, then, in our realm contains God, dark energy, consciousness. It matters not the words that we use. All of these concepts permeate all that is. And that is what gives rise to the comment that God is in all of us. God particle can only be a part of God. And anything less than this pure conscious potential, then we are not talking about the same concept. I would like to leave it with you for now, and I'll return momentarily with one very short conclusion. Thank you very much.